What's up, notJust developers? Welcome back to a new live stream. And today I'm coming to you with a new workshop. So let's have a look at what exactly we're going to do today. Today we're going to build and we're going to focus on building chat applications with React Native and Chat SDK. So yeah, that's the topic for today's workshop, building messaging experience in React Native. And I chose this topic because a lot of applications would benefit from having some chat experience in the application. And these are not only applications that are focused on providing messaging, but also any other application that is out there in a way or another would benefit from having a chat. Maybe that's a chat with a tech support team, or providing a chat for users to communicate with each other. That's exactly what we want to do. And the goal for today will be to build this premium messaging experience for a virtual events application. I chose this application and I'm building this application for the hackathon. And also what I want to give people the possibility is to communicate between each other when they are attending the same virtual event. This will improve the networking, the communication in the application. And yeah, let's see how we can do that. We're going to work on implementing private and group messaging. We're going to have different kind of features that will come out of the box for us, such as message reactions, threads, replies, and so on. So yeah, when I say a full-fledged mobile chatting application, I mean it. And then you'll see how many features we're going to get for this messaging application. Building it yourself, building everything from scratch would require a lot of time. We have on the channel a couple of chat applications, and the most in-depth that we went was 8 episodes. And even that application doesn't have the amount of features that we get by using Chat SDK. So that's why today, in order to make our life easier, we're going to use Chat SDK for that. And for everyone who doesn't know who Chat SDK is, they are providing chat SDK that allows you to very easily integrate chatting experience and messaging experience in your application. You're going to see throughout today's video how everything works. You're going to get into more details about that. But what I want to say that it's really easy. You simply set it up with Chat SDK. You integrate a couple of pre-made components that they are offering us, and then we have this experience. What's even better is that everything is flexible, so we can adjust everything. Chat is sponsoring today's workshop, so thank you very much for showing your support for this event. And I really hope that you will enjoy working with them and you'll see the value that they are providing for us developers. You can get a free account. You can try Stream for free by following the link in the description below. Someone from the team will also paste it in the live chat. And also they are offering a maker account, which is something that I think would be interesting to you. And this maker account is specifically for startups and projects that are getting started. And it offers free usage of both the Chat SDK and also the Activity API. So make sure to apply, and you will be able to use Chat for free. Even without this account, they offer 30 days free trial. So don't worry, we're going to be able to test and experiment with it. Now I want to cover a couple of words about the notJust hackathon, because this workshop is part of the notJustHack event that we are running at the moment. And this is a 3-day hackathon for mobile developers that started on Friday, 25th of November, and is ending actually today. So I hope that you are working hard on building the application that you're gonna submit for tomorrow, because tomorrow we have the demo day on 28th. And also tomorrow is the deadline to submit your presentation. And with that being said, I think we are ready to get started and to start implementing, because today is going to be quite exciting to implement all of this. So yeah, if you want to follow along, and I highly encourage you to actually follow along and try it yourself, then I have prepared for you a technical guide that you can use side by side with this video, and that technical guide will help you move and follow along with me. So check it out. The link is as well in the description, or you can find it in our notjust.dev's website under the blog there. So I'm going to open it right now. Let's do that. I'm going to have it here. And yeah, have it ready on the side. And the next step would be to download the asset bundle. That includes also the starting project, the source code for the project that we're going to use to implement Stream Chat. If you're implementing it in your application, that's also possible. I'm going to show you exactly where do we have to basically initialize, where do we have to put everything in order for any application to be able to have this chatting experience. So it's not mandatory to actually do the same thing in the application that I'm going to do, but at the same time, it's going to help you with like step-by-step guide. All right, so are we ready to get started? Yeah, download it. You can you'll find the source code in the source code directory. Unzip it, open it in Visual Studio Code, and yeah, we are ready to get started. Hi everyone in the live chat. How are you doing, guys? How is it going with the projects that you're doing? Are you excited for today? Hello, Rogelio. Hello, everyone. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in a bit here so that you can also see. And yes, our first step is to sign up for a Stream account. Okay, so to do that, let's click here, try Stream for free. And here you can create an account. No, this is actually the maker account that I was mentioning about, that gives you free usage for the teams that qualify for this. So you can apply following this form, and we will get back to you with more details. For now, in order not to wait a response there, we're gonna go ahead and on get stream. I'm already actually signed up. But what you can do is you can start a free trial, and Stream Chat offers a 30 days free trial. Pretty simple to sign up. I already have an account, so I'm gonna sign in my account here. And after you sign up, after you create an account, what you will see is you will see a big create application button. At the moment, I have a couple of applications here. If you have a new account, you probably will see a little bit different here, but you will definitely see a create application button. So let's go ahead and start by creating our application. So the application will be called virtual events, like this. For the server, let's also choose servers that are closer to either our end users, if this is going to be a production application, or closer to us. And when it asks you about the environment, let's select the development environment. Yeah, and that's it. We can press create application, and Stream Chat will make sure to create our application. Here on this page, we will see more information about our application, and we will get into more details about this form and about the Stream dashboard as we move on and as we need information from here. Now let's go back to the guide, and let's start by installing Stream package in our React Native application. So let's go into our application. So again, I'm going to show you the application that I'm working with. In your case, that can be a different one. That's also possible. I'm going to show you where you have to install and set it up. So the application that I'm working with is this virtual events application that we have built during the previous 2 workshops. And if you haven't checked it out, and if you're interested, you can see these workshops published on our channel, and they are available. You can follow along. In the first one, we have built the user interface. So as you can see, we have a list of events here. We can look at the calendar. When we press on one event, we will see a model with more information about the event. We can also join the event. And when we join the event, like, we are added to this list of people that are going to that event. What else? We also have a list of users that are signed up and maybe we want to chat with. And also like the profile screen and the sign up screen. Let me sign back in. Yeah, the application is built with React Native and with Expo, and the backend is built with nhost. While React Native is a requirement, because I'm going to show you how you can implement it in React Native, the backend side, this workshop is relatively agnostic of the backend side, because the only thing that we need is one identifier of the user in order for Stream to know how to map it to your database users, basically, and that's it. So if your users have some kind of IDs, then don't worry, we will be able to follow along and to implement it. Okay, so let's go ahead and open a new terminal. I'm going to press on this plus sign to open it here. And what we have to do is we're going to take from the guide. We're going to take, where is it? Install. Not this one. Come on. Where did I lose it? notjustdev. Okay. Here it is. So let's scroll down to the install. And Stream has a very good documentation on getting started with Stream Chat inside in an Expo application. So if you're interested, you can check out the documentation here. But I covered like the quick steps that we have to take. So first of all, we need to install Stream Chat Expo. This is a package that gives us possibility to work with the Stream Chat in an Expo application. It's a modified version of Stream Chat React Native. So yeah, just for you to know. Code with send. Thank you very much. In my case, I'm gonna get some errors just because I have some misconfiguration in my version that is coming from the previous part. So from now on, every time I'm gonna run this command, I'm gonna have to attach legacy peer depths like this. So if you also have like this error, add the dash and then dash legacy peer depths after this command. Okay. Now what? Now the next step is to install some additional dependencies that Stream Chat depends on. And here I covered all of them that we have to install. So let's paste them here. And I'm gonna add the legacy peer depth at the end. It might seem like a lot of libraries, but all of them like are for a very specific reason. So for example, Expo Image Picker gives StreamChat SDK possibility to attach files for us. So we get these benefits out of the box. Now that the additional dependencies are done, there are also some optional dependencies. And the optional dependencies is the Expo AV and the Expo clipboard. These two, the Expo AV, if you install it, the only thing you have to do is just install Expo AV, and it will provide you possibility to send video files and play them in your application in the chat. And the Expo clipboard as well is gonna add additional functionalities for copying to clipboard. Actually, let me go ahead and install them as well, because while we are here, because it's such a easy thing to do, and then we get like extra features in our application. And yeah, that's it with installing dependencies. Some of the dependencies that we just installed have some additional steps to configure them. So let's open this additional steps link, and here we will see what exactly we need to take extra. For example, React Native Reanimated, which is responsible for animations, it requires this plugin to be added to the babel.config. So after preset, add a comma, then put the plugins and remove these 3 dots. It should look something like this: comma, plugins, and then an array with a reanimated plugin. Besides that, we have a React Native gesture handler responsible for gestures in our application. And this library needs to be imported at the top of our app.tsx. So let's open app.tsx, scroll at the top, and here we can put import React Native gesture handler like this. And one more step is we need to import the gesture handler root view from React Native gesture handler. And using this gesture handler root view, we need to wrap our whole application. It should be the first component. So if I do like this, and if I save, expecting string, let's double check. Gesture handler root view. Yes. Did I write it correctly? Probably not. Handler, Vadim. Handler. Yeah, I wrote it incorrectly, but if I fix the mistake with the typo, then we should see a white screen. And you might think that, oh, well, it's not working. It's actually working. The only thing we need to provide a style flex1 to make sure that this gesture handler expands on the whole screen. And if we add this style, now we see that it's working as it was working before. And I think that's it with our installation and configuration. Yes, that's actually true. So we can go back here. Before moving to the next step, actually, I will go to my Expo server that I ran with npm start, and I want to restart it just to make sure that everything, all the libraries that we just included are added. So I'm going to start it with the npm start -- clear. And let's run it on iOS. Mike is saying, thank you so much for doing this. I just watched your previous stream, Chat Expo live stream. Was awesome. I'm new to React Native. Your videos are great. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Ranjan, that's funny, right? All right. So I didn't see, was the application loaded again or not? All right, while we are waiting for the application to load again, what do we have to do? Nothing much at this moment. If you're just joining right now, then in this workshop, we will add chatting functionalities to a virtual events application that is built with React Native. And we're going to do that using Stream Chat SDK. So far, we're at the beginning of the workshop. We just installed and created our Stream Chat application. And following in the next steps, we're going to have to integrate it in our application. Okay, so as I see, our installation configuration works okay, because we don't have any issues. So I'm going to add everything to Git. That's going to be install Stream Chat SDK. And we can move to the next step. All right, so for the next step, here is where we start adding and architecting our application to include chat messaging. So imagine that you have worked on an application the similar way as I did, and all of the screens that are the main screens for the application are ready. Now you think that, okay, this application would definitely benefit for some messaging, for in-app messaging, to allow either users to communicate with each other or to have a connection with your end users as an application developer. So if that's the case, then you will definitely need like a place in your application where you will handle the chatting logic. So this should be like a separate screen, a separate part, and that's why let's go ahead and start defining our chat screen in our screens. I'm gonna actually create a new folder here called chat, and I'm gonna store all my screens related to the chat here. And this is gonna be easy for you to see how you can do the same in any other application. I'm going to start with a screen that will display a list of chats, basically a list of chat rooms that we are part of. So that's going to be called chats screen.tsx. And I'm going to start by initializing a very bare bone component that simply displays a text message on the screen. Now, we need to somehow put this into our navigation to be able to navigate to these screens. All right. Again, to separate everything, I'm going to create a separate navigator for our chat screens, because yes, at this moment we have only the chats screen, but later on, or actually let's get started and add them at the moment. We will have other screens as well. For example, the chat room screen. Let me just double check if I called it the same way in the guide. Where is it? Chat room should be. It should be chat room. Yes, chat room screen. And this chat room screen will be the screen that will render the chat room itself, basically messages with one group or with one users. So we will have at least these two screens. For that, let's go ahead in navigation. And I was saying we're gonna create a separate stack navigator for our screens related to the chat. So let's go ahead and create a new file here called chat stack navigator.tsx. And here, let's go ahead and first of all, import the create stack navigator. Let me first put the from React Navigator native stacks, and we're going to import the create native stack navigator. So let's go ahead and first of all create this navigator by saying stack is equal to create native stack navigator. And let's define or export the component, basically the navigator. The component will return some JustHacks. And if you remember from our navigation lessons, in order to render a stack, first of all, we are going to render the stack.navigator. And inside this stack.navigator, we should include the stack.screens that we have. For example, the first one will be stack.screen with a name chats, and the component name is chat, and the component should be the chat screen. I'm going to import also the ChatRoom screen. So this one will be chat screen, and this one will be chat room and chat room. Okay, to summarize our stack navigator here, we created a native stack navigator, and using this stack, we rendered, first of all, the navigator, and inside this, we render two stack screens. One of them will show the list of chats that you have, and the other one will show the chat room itself with the messages that you sent there. Sadia, if you have issues with these dependencies, try to add this at the end, legacy peer deps. After you do, at the end of the npx expo install command, try to add this part. So for example, that's how I installed them. For example, expo install this one, and then -- legacy peer deps. Okay, so we have this stack navigator, but at the same time, we are never import it, we never display it, we never include it in our application. So where do we want to include these chat rooms? Well, one of my idea was to include it as part of our bottom tab navigator as one of these tabs. To do that, let's go ahead in our index.tsx, and this index.tsx, let's start by importing our stack navigator that we just created, the chat stack navigator. Chat stack navigator from this directory, chat stack navigator. Now let's scroll down until we find the bottom tab navigator. Here it should be. If we look in this bottom tab navigator, we will see bottom tab, tab 1. If you are confused by all of this, don't worry. We don't have to get into these details. The only thing that we need to understand is that, yeah, this is our tab 1 screen. This is our tab 2 screen. And what we want is actually a tab in between them. So to add it, let's do bottom tab.screen. And the same way as a stack navigator, it expects a name. For the name, we can do chat, and it expects a component. For the component, we either can render a screen, or yeah, like a component, or we can render a nested navigator. And by doing this, we nest navigations. So here we have it. For the tab bar icon, I think I prepared it here. So for this one, we're gonna add, this is our bottom tab chats. And what I did, I added the options. I want to hide the header of this chat screen, because the header is going to come from the stack navigator, not from this bottom tab navigator. And for the tab bar icon, I will have to import ionicons from expo vector icons. And Just by doing that, we have this chats screen. And when we access it, we see at the top chats. And why is that happening? Because we said header shown false. Well, that is happening because it's coming from the chats stack navigator, these chats. And if I add 1, 2, 3 here, you're going to see it updated right away there. Okay, all right. We are moving. So far, we are preparing our workplace for us to integrate Stream Chat. So we haven't started yet actually implementing Stream Chat. We just prepare the screens that we will need, putting them into the navigations. But I think that this is going to be useful for you as well to know how to implement this in your application as well. So we have our screens and navigations. I think I'm going to go ahead and do a commit here. Chat screens boilerplate. This is just the boilerplate ready for us for the next steps. And the next step from our boilerplate is going to be creating a context provider. I was thinking whether to show it with a context provider or to simplify it and do everything in our, let's say, app.tsx, all of the hard logic of like connecting to Stream Chat, creating a users, and so on. And even though I'm doing it with the context provider, takes a little bit more setting up and boilerplate that we're going to do right now. This approach will make the solution more flexible, and we will be easier. It will be easier for us to only enable chat applications on the screens that we want and not in the whole application, if that makes sense. So, for example, we do not need them chatting inside the authentication screens. Why would we need to enable it there? Or if we want only one screen of application to be with the chat, then it will be much better for your application if you enable it only there. So for that reason, let me close everything. For that reason, we're going to create a context provider using the React create context that will be responsible for managing everything related to the chat. Then we simply will export from that context provider information that we need, such as what is the currently selected chat room. And we will be able to use that information in the screens that we included. So yeah, let's go ahead and start by creating a new folder for our context, for our contexts. And here, let's start by defining the chat context. Let's do that chat context.tsx and a context. A context, let's build it step by step because there are a couple of moving parts and I don't want you to get confused on this part. So the first one is to create our context. To do that, we have a create, how is it called? Create context from React and create context. Now, using this function create context, we will simply create the chat context equal create context, just like that. And we need to provide an empty object for the value of this context, in the initial default value. All right. Now, what this chat context has, it has a chat context.provider, and it has a chat context.consumer. When we need to use this context and get the data from this context, we will need a consumer. In order for the consumer to have access to the chat context, it needs to be one of the child of this provider. So again, what do I mean here is we need to wrap the screens that needs access to the context with the chat context provider. From the things that I just said, let's go ahead and define a component called chat context provider. Export, let's do export default, or let's define it with a const first, chat context provider. And what this component will do, it will render the chat context dot provider. A provider needs the value because this is how we provide the value for the context. At the top, this is the default value, but this is the actual value. Now, we will be able to use this component that we just created. If we exported default chat context provider, we will be able to use it in our application. And in order for us to be able to wrap things inside this chat context provider, we're going to send or we're going to receive the children property, and we're going to render them inside our chat context provider. Just like this. Now, now let me explain a little bit with these children by using the chat context provider. Where will we need it? We will need it in the chat navigation because the chat navigation needs access to it. So let's go ahead in our navigation, chat stack navigator. And here, let's wrap our stack navigator inside the chat context provider like this, that we import from the context. Now, as you can see, our stack navigator is a child of our context provider. And everything inside this component will be passed to the component as a property called children. Now, if we render it inside our component, that means that our stack navigator will be rendered here in the position of these children, and all the screens inside that navigator will have access to our chat context provider. Right? Here we need to pass the value, or we can, if the value will grow, we can store it like this. Value is equal, initially it's an empty, it's an empty object. To fix some TypeScript issues, we can also specify that these children should be of type React dot React node. Yeah. And also you can specify the type of the context, but we don't need that at this moment. This is how we provide and how we set it up. Whenever we will need to use it, for example, if this value will have, I don't know, a, username, let's say, I don't know, username, test username. So we are providing that username value to our provider. Now, if we will need it from our screens chat, one of these screens, for example, chat's screen, if we need that value here, what we can do is from React, we will import, from React, we should import use context. We need to import the actual context. So from the chat context, I will have to do export here. Export chat context. Now, in our chat screen, we need to import this context from context, chat context. And now in our application, we can get access to the context data by using use context hook and providing the chat context there. and we can get the username, right? Username, that's the value that we wanted. And if I display it on the screen, save, let's go to our chat screen. What happened? Why we don't have any more our bottom tab? No, we have. Now we see test username. And if from the chat context, I'm going to change here to Vadim, it will update automatically in that screen because we are consuming it. Okay, that's a little lesson on context providers. I'm not going to stop here. I'm going to show you one more little trick. As you can see at the moment, in order to use data from this context, we will also have to import two things, the use context and the chat context, in order to put them together. I can do a shortcut here in my chat context. I can do export const. I can define a custom hook called use chat chat context. This is going to be equal to a function, or let's say a hook, that will call the use context with the chat context like this. And now from the chat screen, I simply have to import the use chat context. And that's it. One thing to import, and then we get all the data that we need. Use chat context from the context. And if I go here, I still have access to the username. All right, so now our system with a context provider is set in place and is ready for us to move to the next step. Yes. So let me go ahead and add everything here. Git commit chat context provider. Chat context provider. Here we go. How's it going, guys, so far? IB, what do you mean by that? Стащук, это быстро понял. Стащук, what's Стащук? It's so cool. Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, this is not the cool part yet. In probably around 20 minutes, we're gonna get to a point where we will have everything set up, and just by putting a couple of React components, we're gonna see how our application starts taking shape very, very fastly. So yeah, we invest a bit of time to set our ground ready, and then we're gonna implement it. Are we going to implement the push notifications? For this application, probably not, because today is the last day of the hackathon. So yeah, we're gonna stop probably here. So why I don't use recoil? Because that would be an extra dependency to this project. So I keep it simple. For this specific use case, React context is perfectly fine because we don't have like crazy amount of data to work with. We will have like a couple of variables that we will need to share. And mostly I implemented this chat context file in order to have one single place where things happen related to the chat SDK. And by having this file, you're going to simply look at it and see, okay, here is how we can connect. Here, how is we can join a room. Here is how we can create a user and so on. In order not to have these functionalities in all over the place in the application, let's have it here. It's going to be easier for us to see and to understand the flow. That's Abdul, very good ideas related to video ideas. Actually, I'm gonna note them down. Okay, guys. So I think we have committed and everything. We are ready to get started. Not to get started. We are ready to continue with the next step. In the guide, if we scroll down, we have finished with the chat context. Now we are at this step, connect the user to the chat client. What we have to do is we have to start by connecting one user to the stream chat client. So let's go ahead in our, and yeah, where is that's going to happen? That's going to happen, of course, in our context that we just prepared. And I'm going to do it like this. So for you to understand like what's happening, like here is our component. So the code that we will use will mostly be written here in this component. Okay. What will we need? Yes, first of all, we will need to get the instance of stream chat. For that, we will have to import stream chat from stream dash chat, just like that. Now we need to initialize this stream chat. Where that's going to happen? That's going to happen as soon as this component mounts. So for that reason, we're going to need a use effect, and inside our component in the chat context provider, before we define the value and return the JSX, let's define the use effect here. That is going to be called when the component mounts by passing the empty dependency array. In this use effect, I'm going to go ahead and define a function called init chat, because initializing the chat is an async function. So we cannot call it directly from the use effect body. We need to define a function, and then we need to call this function after initializing it. It looks a bit weird, but we have to do this shortcut because use effect does not support a wait here. Okay, now inside this init chat, what we have to do is we have to start defining our client. So using the stream chat dot get instance, we get the instance of our client. Here, what we need to provide is the key for our application, and let's grab it from the dashboard. Let's open our get stream dashboard. I lost access to it. Probably closed that tab. And from here we have virtual events. And in this page, if we scroll down a bit, we will have app access keys. Let's copy the key of your project and paste it in the get instance here. So again, let me do it one more time to make sure that everyone is on the same page. So from your dashboard, find the application here, and you can already see the key and copy it from this view. However, if you are on the application page, on the overview in the first tab, we can scroll down until app access keys, and here we can find the access key. So now we connected the client like this. And at this moment, nothing should happen. The only thing is that we should make sure that we do not have any errors. We do not. That means that everything is okay at this moment. Okay. Having access to the client, the next step is to kind of authenticate the user with the stream chat. We need to connect this user with stream chat SDK. And how is this happening? And yeah, basically stream chat needs to know who is the user that is going to use the application right now in order to manage like who is sending the messages, who to display it, and so on. Usually in your applications, you will have you will store information about your users in a backend, in a database somewhere. In our application, we are storing this information using nhost because we are using nhost for the backend. So here we need to kind of get information about the authenticated user. I'm going to add these comments for you to know if you're implementing this in your application and if it's a bit different. Yeah, you will have to get information about the authenticated user and connect the user to stream chat. Okay, in my case, because I'm using the nhost for the backend, I will use a hook from nhost to get information about the user, and it's called use user data. This hook will give me information about the user, and yeah, having this information about the user, I will be able to go ahead and connect the user to the stream chat. To do that, we simply call client.connectUser. Connect user. You can also connect an anonymous user, by the way. And that's very handy if you, for example, offer chatting for, let's say, a live streaming application where people can comment even if they haven't signed up. There is a possibility to connect an anonymous user as well by calling anonymous here. But we want to connect a signed-in user. So for that, we need to provide information about the user. Information such as the user ID. And here we can either, we need to provide them ID that the ID of a user that is currently signed in. I'm going to take it from the user.id. And it puts a question mark because this user can also be null in some cases. So what I'm going to do is, if a user is null, in that case, I don't want to connect him. So I'm going to do a check at the beginning of the init function. And I'm going to check if user is not defined. Then, I don't know, simply return. And here, I don't need to put a question mark anymore. All right, so besides the ID, it also needs a name. So I'm going to do user.name, user.displayName in my case, and image. So the image will be user.avatar URL. This is information about the user. The second parameter that we need to provide to the connect user is the token of the user, and token of a user. Yeah, this is gonna token. Yeah, I'm trying to think how to explain in the easiest way. So the second parameter is the token of a user, and that's gonna be the way how stream chat will map a user from stream chat to a user from your application. So in our case, we are going to use development tokens because they are we do not need to implement anything on our backend to generate them. We simply can generate them here by calling client.devToken and by passing here the user ID. And this function will generate a development token using the ID of our user. It most probably will fail because we need to enable development tokens. Let me go to the chat. And yes, possible and handled because failed with, yeah, tokens are not allowed for this application. Development tokens are not allowed for this application. Let's go ahead in our stream dashboard. And again, from your homepage, open the application that you're working on. And on the overview page, let's scroll down until we see authentication. Here, disable the authentication checks and save the changes. If this check if you cannot enable this check, then make sure that your application is in development. If I go to app settings, edit application, make sure that it's in development, because production application do not support development tokens. This should only be used for prototyping and for testing things out. Because in a production application, what you will do is you have to, inside your backend, you have to generate these user tokens. And there is a very easy documentation on their website how you can do that. And that will ensure maximum security, that exactly only the users only the owners of account could connect to the chatting experience there. All right, and now if I'm gonna reload the application, reload. If we go to the chat, we do not see any issues. And that means that our user has successfully connected. But how can we be sure? Let's check it out. Let's go to our dashboard, stream dashboard. Let's open our application. And in the left panel, there is Explorer. The Explorer will let you check like users, channels, and other information. Let's open the users. And we see the first one, notjustdev. This is your account as the administrator of this application. Yeah, this is the role admin. However, the second one is the account with the ID that of my authenticated user. It has a role, created that, updated that, last active, and so on, and also the image. That means that we have correctly connected a user. And the second time it will connect, it will not create it once again, because it will see, okay, we already have a user with this ID and with this token. And only if things change here, for example, as the display name or the avatar, it will update for the stream as well. Perfect. And yeah, what I want to do is I want to save this client in a state variable, because later on we might need it. So let's go ahead and do client, yeah, chat client, and set chat client, use state. This client we can do, yeah. After we connect the user here, let's do set chat client with the client, like this. I can go ahead and provide the type here, stream chat. Yeah, like this. And yeah, we're gonna have a chat client. And why I wanted this chat client here is in order for us to make sure to disconnect the user when we close the application. And to do that, let me define a new use effect. That will simply return a function, and this, when you return a function, this function is executed when the component unmounts. And what I want to do is I want to check if the chat client is defined, then I want to call chat client dot disconnect, disconnect or deactivate. Disconnect user should be. Disconnect user. Yeah, it should be there. Okay, so now if I leave this, it will disconnect, and if I come back, it will connect again. Okay, so we have successfully connected to Stream Chat. I think I'm gonna do commit here. Connect to Stream Chat SDK and create a user. We have created that user there. Now the next step would be whenever the user connects to there, I want to automatically add him to a global chat. And that's because I don't want him to join the chatting and see nothing there, basically an empty field. I want him to be able to at least see a global chat and communicate with other people that are using the same application or are attending the same event, let's say. So for that, we are going to have to create a global channel. And when we're going to do that, we're going to create that channel after we connected the user. So let's say we connected the user, we set the chat client here, and then let's go ahead and create a global channel. That's how I'm going to call it, global channel. And to create a channel, we will use the client variable that we initialized. So client.channel. And here we need to provide two things. The first is the type of a channel, and Stream supports multiple types of channels. Let me actually show you while we are talking about this now. Creating the global channel. I wanted to show that one chat. For example, here we have a very good demo of different types of channels that you can create. So for example, starting from the top, there is the messaging type of channel. This is very good for applications like WhatsApp, like Telegram, Signal, messaging, and so on. That allows people to communicate with each other, like private messages, and also like smaller groups of friends. And we have like reactions, we have a lot of things. GIFs, for example, Giphy, like this, and so on. There is also team collaboration that is perfect for applications like Slack, with different topics, with different direct messages, and so on. There is live streaming applications similar to Twitch, so you can implement chats like this as well. And at the core, it's the same chat, but these types that I'm talking about, these are different predefined configurations for the chat. And configuration are like whether to show or not the typing, whether to show or not like reactions, or whether to show or not typing events, in like a lot of other things like this. So the last step is, like this virtual event that is something similar to what we are trying to implement today with a global chat. And this virtual event, for this, we're going to use the type live stream because it's a group with a lot of people. So we don't want like to overload this chat application with a lot of features, such as displaying that someone is typing when there might be like 10,000 people. I don't know. That's not necessary. So I'm going to go with a live stream type for our global channel. And let's move to the channel ID. The channel ID is simply the ID, how you want to identify that channel as. I'm going to go simple with global here. And I know that the global will be the global channel. And finally, we can define some custom data, and some custom data like the name. Let's say notjust.dev. Yeah, let's do it like this. Now we created this instance of a global channel, but in order to actually create it with stream chat, we have to call a function await. We have to call global channel dot create. This will actually create the channel, but instead of doing this, I'm going to call another function called watch, which does both creating the channel behind the scenes and subscribing to updates. Basically, if someone is sending a message, we're going to receive that update automatically. So we are watching the channel, and just by doing that, we should actually successfully create the channel, even if we're not going to see anything in our application. Let's just refresh, go to our chats, wait a bit to see if we do not receive any promise rejections. I don't see them. And that means that it most probably succeeded. To check that, let's go to the Explorer and let's check the channels. And I see right away the live stream global channel. And down below, you will see the configuration and information that was added for our channel. For example, like here in the config, you will see the different configuration that I was mentioning about, and they are all coming because we set it as a live stream. For example, typing events false, read events false, connect event false, search false, reactions true, replies, codes true, and so on. Okay. One last step that I want to do here before moving on is I want to save this channel as, or I don't actually want to save this channel. No. Yeah, we can go ahead and commit because this step is finished. We have successfully connected to a global channel whenever the user signs up. So git commit -m connect to the global channel. Okay. Now, actually, we are getting started with the fun part because so far we implemented a lot of stuff that's good, but on the screen, we didn't see anything at this moment. And in the next steps, you're going to see how fast our application starts taking shape. So this is all because Stream Chat provides a lot of pre-made UI components that we can use out of the box. So let's go ahead in the application and in the chat context. The first I'm going to go slowly and I'm going to explain why we need every single component, not just like, let's put all of them here. The first component, all of them we're going to import from Stream Chat Expo because it's specifically for our platform, for Expo. And the first one is the overlay provider. Overlay provider should be the first component that we basically wrap everything else with. So I'm going to wrap our context provider with this overlay provider. And I'm going to put the, I'm going to put it here. And this overlay provider is responsible for displaying things on top. For example, whenever you want to react to a message, then Stream Chat will pop up a small tooltip with different message reactions. And in a lot of other features that depend on some kind of pop-ups, they depend on the overlay provider that is defined here. After the overlay provider, we need to provide the chat client that we connected and initialized here. The chat client should be available down to the other children. So to provide it, we're going to import the chat. Simply chat. Now let's go ahead and put the chat inside the overlay provider, but before the chat context. Not before, but actually we need to wrap around this. Now the chat expects the actual client. Client equal chat client. We see that it complains that our chat client can be null, and that's true because whenever we just sign up, when we just open the application and the chat client is not initialized yet, it's going to be null. So for that reason, before returning, I'm going to check if chat client is not defined. Then we can simply return an activity indicator. Just like that. And if I refresh, okay. So far, we have added two components, and the text string must be rendered inside. That's where is it coming from? Yeah, it's coming from these semicolons. It's a very nasty error that it's hard to debug and to find when that happens. As I was saying, so far we have added two components and we still don't see anything. We're going to add the third one and everything will change. To do that, let's go ahead in the screens, chat. In the chat screen, this one that is displaying here, our username. What we're going to do here, we're going to import something from the Stream Chat Expo, and we're going to import channel list. Using this channel list, we're going to render. Yeah, let's simply render the channel list like this. And if we save right away, we see the global chat room that we joined before. So now if I click on it, nothing happens because we haven't implemented that yet, but the global chat is actually there. And I think I can also provide like the image here, and the image, I don't know, let me try to provide it from, come on, notjustdev, I don't know, from here, copy image address. Will it work? I'm wondering. No. Let's see if it will work. I'm very curious. Possible. I'm not gonna try. Something was not working properly. Chat, and we have the chat room there. All right. Okay. What next? What next? The next step for us is yeah, actually, whenever I press on this chat room, I want to navigate to the next screen that renders the detailed chat room, right? How can we do that? Whenever we are rendering the channel list, we can pass there the onSelect property. And this onSelect property is going to be called whenever we press on one of these chat rooms. And then, yeah, let's define the function that is going to const onSelect. This function will receive the channel that we just selected. And what it will do, I don't know, should do something with it. Let's do at least console warn select. Let's go ahead and assign it to the onSelect, and let's make sure that it works. If I press on this, I do not see the console warn. Why? I don't know. If I go to the chats, if I press, I see select. Okay, so what do I want to do here? Well, first of all, I want to save this channel as the currently selected channel and then redirect to the next screen. So saving the channel as the current active channel, we're going to do that in the chat context. For that, we will need a new state variable for the, how is it called? Current channel, set current channel, use state. I think it should be channel and like this. The channel should be imported from stream chat. Like this. Now let's go ahead and export the value of our state and the setter. We will export it through our provider, through the value here. So we don't need username anymore. Let's export the current channel, the set current channel, and let's actually export the chat client as well if we will need it in any case. Now, having these values exported, we can go ahead in the chat screen, and we can on this page where we click on this item, we have to use the setter and update the currently selected channel. So for that, we are going to need, instead of a username here, the set, how is it called? Set current channel. And in our onSelect, we simply call set current channel with the channel that we receive. This as well will be a channel if you want to get rid of them from stream chat, like this. What else here we will need? We will, as we said, we want to also redirect. So for that, we will need the navigation. Or we can take it, actually, we can destructure it from the properties, because this is, let's not do it like this. Let's get it with the hook, use navigation. And what we want to do is we want to, using the navigation, we want to navigate where? To the screen that we have navigation, chat stack navigator, to this chat room screen. And now if I'm going to press on this chat room, I need to first refresh the page. And if I go to the chat and now I press here, I'm redirected to the chat room. I'm redirected to the chat room. Nothing exciting here at this moment, but let's go ahead and open this chat room screen. And let's go ahead and display the chat room that we want to display. For that, we first need access to the current selected chat room. So current channel is equal to use chat context. Make sure to import the chat context from our context, because there is also a use chat context from Stream Chat SDK. So knowing the current channel, we're going to import three React components, and one of them is the channel from Stream Chat Expo. So I'm going to remove a view on the text, and let's start by defining that channel here and by sending the actual channel that we get from our context. If I save, nothing much will happen, but now everything that will be inside our this inside this channel component, come on, they will have access to the data about the current channel. What we have to render there is a component called message list that we will add here, and it will render the list of messages. At the moment, the problem is that we don't have any messages. Do we have to create a component for the input to send the message? Well, no, we don't have to do that because it's already created, and it's called message input. Now, by simply rendering the message input after our message list, we have a fully functional chatting application. And now I can send here, hello, all. And if I send the messages there, and if I go to the, our Explorer, to the channels in the global, I can look at the messages, and I already see that there is one message, hello world. And if other people will join our application, we will already be able to communicate with each other. How cool is that? How cool and how easy it was to implement all of these screens. And now what we have is we have a possibility in 1 hour and 22 minutes, we have a global chat feature in our application where a user can join and maybe even use Giphy. Probably we have to provide no, it's actually working. Giphy, I don't know. Coding, what's gonna happen there? Shuffle. No, yes, let's go. So does it also allow us to send images? Let's test it. So if I select this image, it's uploading. Check this out. And if I send, it automatically sends the image there. And a lot of other features as well. So for example, I can connect from my phone, Expo, go. I can connect to my phone to this application so we can see how we can reply to messages and so on. I'm just gonna have to quickly sign in. And by the end of this video, I think I can give you access as well to the application so we can chat. Yeah, it's gonna load on my phone, but until then, I think we can, yeah, until then we can do git add dot git commit chat UI, and here we have it. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know. We are not done yet. We also want to implement private DM messages We will also implement group messages, but not where everyone is there, but for all the events that we have. So we still have to implement a couple of exciting features. Stay here with us. Rakshit, hello Vadim, do you know how we can pass image URL in stream chat if we have stored images in S3 storage? First of all, you should enable the public access of your S3 images. And let me actually check if that's gonna work by default, because I have already some, if I look, let me get some URLs that should work. For example, if I open this one, I don't know what's gonna happen there. Okay, it should be some Among Us. So if I'm gonna go to the, as you can see, this image is stored on S3, but it is publicly available. I set public access to it. So if I simply send it to stream chat, where I connect my user, and if I say that my avatar is this one, and like this, I need to log in with a different account for me to see it, right? Let me, or yeah, let me sign in here. Yeah, let me sign in from my phone so we can see how two accounts can chat with each other. So if I go to the chats from my phone, it will connect. I see notjustdev. I see it there. Hello. And as you can see, the new account has this new avatar that is coming from S3. So there is no extra steps that you have to take other than enabling public access. So if you, by accessing this image, if you see it in your browser, stream chat will also see it. So I'm going to go back to using the avatars from nhost. New avatar. Let's see. So if I go to the chat here, global, new avatar. Yes. No, actually, it's not a new avatar. Didn't refresh. And if I also close this one and do I here. How can we display the channel name in the header instead of a chat room? To do that, yeah, that's also a very good question. I can show you in a moment how we can do that. So if I go to the notjustdev here, new avatar, yes, it's displaying my new user profile from nhost from another account. And what I can do is, yeah, like I can long press, and here we see a pop-up. I can react to this message. I can also reply to this message. Come on. We can reply. Hi there. Send. And as you can see, yes, it works. And from another account, if I'm gonna react there, we will see it right away appearing in our application. Awesome. I'm always impressed by how easy it is to implement all of these things with stream chat. And yeah, someone asked me how we can replace the title of this chat room with the name of the chat room itself. So to do that, we're going to go in the screen of this page, for example, chat room screen here, and we're going to need access to the navigation. To do that, let's do navigation dot equal use navigation. Now we need to change the title whenever our current channel changes. So whenever we have this kind of dependencies, we are using a use effect hook where we will say, call this hook whenever our current channel dot name, current channel for us is let me just double check the type of it. Current channel is a channel and it has what? Name or display name? Data dot what? Let me first do console log current channel just to see it. Chat, and here is the information about the current channel. Yeah, it has a lot. What we are interested is, I'm going to search for notjust.dev. It should be name. It should be name.name. So here. No, it's undefined. It's name inside what? Oh, I'm gonna have to do JSON. JSON.stringify current channel, and here null and 2. Now it's gonna, I'm gonna see it much better. Cannot serialize cyclic. If I had properly typed my context, which let's go ahead and do that, then we will get like proper recommendations. So I'm going to define the type of our chat context type, and this chat context type will export the, for example, the current channel, and the current channel is of a type channel, besides the other things that it will also export. So we should do it like this. And here we need to provide the default current channel with no. It can also be undefined. And now in the chat screen, I should have, in the chat room screen, I should have current channel dot, what's here? Data probably, dot, ID I saw, member's name. So when this changes, what we want to do is we want to take the navigation dot set options, and I want to set the title of our navigation with the name of this channel, or if that's not defined, I'm going to say channel. Now, if I'm going to go here, notjustdev, it's right there, notjustdev at the top, the way you asked us to do. All right. All right. So yeah, let's continue with the rest of the tasks that I have prepared for you, and then we're going to explore more if you would be interested. So let me check what's up with Git status here. Update chat room screen title. Okay. What's the next step? The next step, we have a channel page. The next step is the private messages. And so what's going to happen with the private messages? What I intend to do is I want to start a private message when we press on one of the users in this list of users. So yeah, from the main screen, if I press on the users, now I see them in a list. And when I press on one of these users, I want to start a chat with that user. What I want to do now before actually starting a chat is I want to move the user's model from this page to the chat page, because I think it makes more sense to see a list of users in the chats page, right? And also we need access to them, so it's going to make a lot of sense to move it there. So let's pay attention very closely how we're going to move our users from this tab 1 page inside our chat page here. So the first step is from the navigation inside the index. Let's go ahead and find the model. The model, I think that's how it's called, model, right? It's around line 94. Here we have model and users. We are actually interested in the users, not in the model, sorry. So what we have to do is we have to remove the user's model from this root navigator. And to do that, look, I'm going to copy the whole group because we need this group with presentation model. I'm going to copy this group from here. I'm going to remove users from here. And we're going to move to the chat stack navigator. And in the chat stack navigator, let's paste that group. And here we're going to remove a model because the model remained there. We only need users here. So now we need the user screen that we can easily import from the screen's user screen. Now we didn't fix anything because the icon is still here, and if I will press it, it will actually not work because our model was moved in another navigator. The same way we moved the actual stack screen, we need to move the icon from the top, from the header. Again, going to navigation index.tsx, let's scroll down a bit until we see this header right with a pressable, with font awesome and users. This is the part that renders our icon in the header here. Okay, let's go ahead and copy everything from including options until these three, until the end of a component here. So options, we cut them from here, or no, let's just copy them from here. And we're going to move them in the chat stack navigator. Inside the stack screen, chats here. So let's paste the options here. And we're going to fix it a bit. First of all, I think we will not need, let's just simply remove the types from here. Title, we don't need a title here. tab bar icon. We don't need a tab bar icon here. We only need the header right. Let's make sure to import the pressable React Native font awesome from Expo Vector icons. And now if I'm going to go to the chats, I should see this icon there. And if I will press on it, it opens the users that we defined below. Now it's good, but we also have to remove it from the previous tab 1. So back to our index.tsx from the bottom tab navigator. Let's remove a header right here. Header right. Make sure not to delete extra brackets. And we don't need, it's okay. Let's save and let's close this one. The tab 1 now doesn't have an icon in the header, and the chats contains these users. Perfect. So I'm going to commit this one, git commit. Move users to the chat stack navigator. Don't forget to hydrate. Thank you very much. I think I was not paying attention to that. By the way, I don't know if you saw that. Look what bottle I was drinking water the last year probably. This is the best, like the most comfortable water bottle near the computer. Okay, we should move. So our goal was to start a private chat message whenever we press on one of these users. So the logic of starting the chat, the logic of starting a private DM, like a chat room with a user, that logic, where should we put it? I'm gonna do it. Yeah, that logic, let's put it in the context, chat context TSX. Let's scroll down in this chat context. And before the if statement, let's define a new function called const start, start private chat room, or start DM chat room. And we want to start it with someone. So we will need their user ID. So with this user. Let's simply console warn starting a chat room with user. With user.id. Now let's go ahead and export this function through our value, like this, start DM chat room. Now, from our component that is rendering one of these users, which is our component's user list item, we will need to get access to that function, start DM chat room, using the use chat context. Now we need to, whenever we press on this user, we need to call this start DM chat room. To do that, we need to replace the view with a pressable. So let me import the pressable. And here on press, we will call start DM chat room. Now, if I go here, open the user and press on one of these users, nothing happens. Probably I have to restart. If I go here, press on this, still nothing happens on press, start DM chat room. Okay. Oh, because I have to send the user there. So on start, let's put the function, and we need to send here the user. Now I think it will work. Oh, I think use chat context, yeah, was imported. Not, thank you very much. And that was my bad of naming it the same way. So sorry for that. Probably you should use a different name, not to get these unexpected errors that, as you can see, are quite hard to detect. Thank you very much. Yeah, now if I'm gonna go here and press on one of these user, starting chat room with that user, and here starting chat room with this user, and there as well. Perfect. I like that. Now from this side, from user list item, we are done basically, because all the logic is going to happen in our chat context here. So in the start chat room with the user. So we're going to create a new channel, and a similar way how we created the global channel. Let's go ahead and say const new channel equal to client, or how is it called, chat client dot channel. And in order to get rid of a question mark, we will check if chat client is null. Let's simply return. Now, the first parameter should be the type of a channel. Previous time it was live stream. Here, because it's a one-to-one messaging, I will use the messaging type. Messaging. I think I wrote it correctly, I hope. Now we can provide here custom data, and one of these data can be, yeah. Let me explain one more difference in the way we create channels. Previous time we created the channel by providing the ID of a channel, global. This is one way to create channels. Another way to create channels is, instead of providing the ID global, the ID of a channel, we provide a list of members. Member 1, member 2, and member 3, and so on. This way, StreamChat will automatically generate the ID that we are not sending to the backend, and it will automatically add these members in the chat room. The difference is that whenever you create a chat room by specifying the list of members, after that you cannot edit and update the list of members in the chat room. This is very good for like private one-to-one messaging and so on. For our use cases, you can use like channel IDs, and then you can join channel as a member. So as I said, in this case, we will go with the second approach by providing a list of members. And these members here, we need to provide the ID of users that should be there. So one of them should definitely be the user ID that we want to chat with. And actually the first one or the second one will be the user that we are registered as. And that user, we can either take it from not user.id, because user is this one. I should rename this from user to start chat with user. I don't know, this will make more sense. So first of all, we get the user ID that we have from nhost, basically the ID of our user. Or also you can get access to your user by doing chat client.user ID. That's also possible. And it will probably be better like this: chat client user ID, and then chat with user ID. Chat with user ID. And as I said, this the dot channel does not create, it just initializes the data. And to create it, we either have to call the new channel new channel.create, or if we want to create and watch it at the same time, we should do new channel.watch. And this is an async function. So we're going to go await. And because it's await, we need to make the function async here. So await, new channel. And besides just creating and awaiting, I want to set this new channel as currently selected, new channel. And I want right away to redirect there. So I'm going to do navigation. We don't have navigation here. We can get navigation here by using use navigation hook. And after creating this private DM channel, star DM chat room, we can do navigation dot navigate to the chat, and not only to the chat, but to the chat with where? To the chat room. To the chat room, like this. Chat room. And because our users are displayed in the model, if I'm going to do that, the model will not close automatically, even though it worked behind the scenes. So we need to first do navigation dot go back to close the model, and then move to the chat room. And if I do that and go back, refresh, let's see. If I go to the chats, now I should see two chat rooms, one that was global and the second one that we just created. And if I'm going to create new chat rooms with new users, this is actually me, I think, and I cannot do that. But if I go support, what's the problem? Failed with the following users involved in the channel create operation, but didn't exist. Please create the user object before setting up the channel. Is there a user? Chat user ID and chat with user.id. Navigation replace to close the model and navigate. Okay, let's see. Navigation replace. Yes, it works. Thank you. What is the problem there with creating, for example, with support? Oh, support hasn't joined the chat yet. That's why. Yeah, that's true, because that user that I created with support is not yet here. But the other one is here, and I can do how are you? And this is already a private chat room. And as you can see, we receive a message here, and we can same way communicate here. But because this is a chat, we created it as a messaging type. As you can see, it has, like, for example, one of the differences, it has the typing indicator. So if on my phone I type, I see here Vadim is typing. If I stop, it automatically stops right away from different phone there. And other different methods that we can adjust. Perfect. So that means that our private messaging is working. Private messaging is working. And we can go ahead and commit. Git add, git commit -m private messages. Awesome. And one more type of messaging that I want to implement today is group messaging for every track, for basically every event that is happening. For example, if I'm attending this workshop, I want to go ahead and join a conversation specifically about this workshop, where other people can talk about the workshop. So that's the plan. That's the plan for the next feature. And for that, let's go ahead and follow our guide. Private messages are done. Group messaging, that's the next step. Yeah, the join event function, let's actually take it from here because it's not that much different than the start DM chat room. I'm going to put it in our chat context.tsx at the end here. So yeah, as I say, it's pretty similar to the previous start DM chat, but the join event chat room will receive an event. And what it will do, it will create a live stream type of channel with a channel ID. How do we create the channel ID? We create it by specifying the event ID. And by doing this, we make sure that all people that are joining this event, they are joining the same chat, the same chat room, because we provide the ID of the event as the ID of the chat room. And this what makes this work by having the same ID for the same event of the room. And for the name, yeah, we just simply provide the event name. And the last step is we are watching it similar to how we watched it previously, but we are providing like extra limits of how many watchers can this channel have. We simply set it in state and we navigate to the chat room. It shows me a lot of errors, but this is just because of I didn't type properly the navigation. So what else do we need to do here? Well, the problem right now is that yeah, we first of all need to export this join event chat room function from our context. Let's export it like this. And we will need it where? Inside the model of the detailed model of the event. Let's open that model. Screens, model screen. So if I, let's scroll up and somewhere near the top of our component, we need to get the function join event chat room from chat context. And now I'm going to be sure to import it correctly from my files. Now we need a button that will trigger this join event chat room. And I'm going to scroll down until we see this custom button. And the custom button, I don't see it on the screen yet because I already joined this event. If I'm going to check another one, this is the button that we see. What I want to do is I first want to show the join the event button. And after you press it, I want to change the button to join chat room. So I'm going to copy the custom button and I'm going to replace the null part here with another custom button. So if we haven't joined yet, display the join the event. Otherwise, join the conversation. And to have some conversation. And to have some visual difference, I will do it as a secondary. Join the conversation. Yes, like this. And when we press on the join the conversation, we should do on or join. Actually, we need a function that will call the join event chat room, and we need to send there the event that we want to join. Now, if I'm gonna go to the workshop, join the conversation, join event chatroom is not a function. Join event chatroom is not a function. Why is that happening? Well, because somehow we do not have access to the chat context. Why is that happening? Let's think about to what screens did we give access to our chat context. Well, we gave access only to the chat screens here, and we did that by wrapping our chat stack navigator with a chat context provider. That means that only these screens, the chats, the chat room, and the users, only they have access to the chat context provider. Well, in this situation, we are expanding the features of a chat to our screens as well. And the easiest way is to remove the chat context provider from here and move it a bit up. So I'm going to remove it from the chat stack navigator and from the index. Inside our root navigator, I don't want our sign in and sign up screens to have access to the chat, but the rest of our screens, I want them to have access to the chat. So that's why I'm going to wrap this part with our chat context provider to give access to other screens as well, to call like join the chat room and so on. Now, if I'm going to press on the workshop, join the conversation, I'm redirected to the workshop with the name build any mobile application. Nice workshop. And if I go back, I see the group, the channel for the workshop. I see it right away here. And you can add like also like images for the chat room, specifically for the workshop, if your events also have chat rooms. And the same way in Q&A session, I can join the conversation and ask a question, send. And if I go back, I will see it here, Q&A session as the last chat room. And that's how we can provide group chat rooms for specific events or for specific topics. Yeah, I think that's done here. So we can commit event-based chat rooms. Event-based chat rooms. How is it going for you guys so far? Would you like to join the application right now and start testing it? Let's try to do that if anyone would be interested. Let me do, I would need to open it with a tunnel. Do you guys have any questions related to the features that we just implemented? So if you have Expo Go on your phone, go ahead and scan this QR code, or I will actually paste the URL in the chat. You can use that URL to join the application, and we can actually chat for a bit this evening. Let me go through for some of the questions. Yeah, people were helping me with the context there. Yeah, it seems that everything seemed to be clear. Lucas is saying amazing SDK, so much in a few simple steps. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, I really love Stream Chat SDK for this simplicity out of the box. I always love, I'm a lazy person, but not a lazy person. I'm an efficient person. And if I had to build all of these components myself, can you imagine how much time you'd have to spend like with all of these features, with editing messages and so on? I probably didn't even cover like 20% of the features that they offer. I just showed you like on the surface, like the most important ones that you would expect. You can also pin messages and they would be stayed pinned. You can start threads. You can send images and so on. Like it's really mind-blowing what's possible. You can see who reacted, like everything is animated. And also what's important in these use cases is ability to adjust it based on your own needs. And when it comes to stream, you can basically adjust every single component that is predefined. You can create it yourself and replace it in the stack. For example, let's say you in the screen, in the chat room screen. For example, you are not mandatory to use a message input. Maybe you want a normal input that you create a new style because you might need something else, like maybe different styles for this input. You can replace it and simply call directly the send message from stream chat. You can also, like if you get into the adjustments and flexibility and what you can customize, then like it's an endless topic, because you can literally customize every single thing here. You can apply like filters, sorting for messaging. You can apply searching and so on. I recommend you to play a bit with this demo, with a chat demo, because it shows exactly like it's a very good representation of the features that comes out of a box from stream. For chatting message, like, look, this is similar. This is totally the same as Messenger. You can do that in 2 hours. Q&A, you can build a Q&A session and you can see like people can vote. And this was created very simply. We only enabled the upvote reaction and disabled the rest, and you get this kind of Q&A type of chatting where you hard man, tough dedication level. Thank you very much. It's my dream. How do you go about designing the look and feel of application you build? I don't know. No, it's hard to say at the moment, because last application that I have built were educational applications, so we are following some other applications. For this one specifically, it was mostly based on intuition, and also a lot of the screens that we build here are, a lot of the designs and styles are coming from the libraries that we are using. For example, this is coming from the library with the calendars, the rest of, oh, we have already people, greetings from Ecuador. Hey there, that's so nice. You managed to connect, and did everything worked? Workshop. Yes, perfect. The application is building for our people. So what I wanted to say, we are now at the Q&A. If you still have any questions, let me know. I'll be happy to answer. And I want to remind at the end that there is a special prize from Stream Chat SDK during that Not Just Hackathon. So if you're watching this video afterwards, then this part probably you can ignore. But if you're watching it live during the hackathon, then this is quite important because tomorrow at the demo day, StreamChat SDK, the team from StreamChat SDK will choose their favorite project, and that project will win $300 as an Amazon gift card and also some special swag from Stream. So if you're interested in that, definitely try to implement chatting functionalities in your application that you're building for the hackathon. Mention about it, tell us how you benefit or how you used Stream Chat for your specific application, how you used it to improve your application, and you will have opportunity to win the special prize from Stream. Again, thank you very much, Stream, for sponsoring this video. It is a pleasure to, and I would use this. I would teach how to use Stream Chat SDK even without being sponsored. Because I really see the value and the simplicity that Stream Chat brings to the table, and knowing how important messaging is in most of application, and knowing how hard it is as a developer to implement it, I see the actual value that you get by using Stream Chat and not trying to reinvent the wheel. So yeah, thank you very much for that. And a couple of words about the Not Just Hackathon. If you are participating, then the most important thing to know is that tomorrow is the demo day. And if you want to present at the demo day, then you have to submit your video presentation under this form. So let me actually copy the link and paste it in the live chat. So for people interested in submitting and participating in the hackathon, make sure to submit your application here. And the deadline is actually tomorrow at midday in the GMT time zone. This is also very important, GMT. You can convert it to your time zone to make sure you do not miss it. That means that tomorrow at 3 p.m. GMT, we have a demo day. We're going live. And 3 hours before that, the deadline stops because I need to have a bit of time to put all the demos together, to analyze them and prepare the demo day. Then yes, at 3 p.m. GMT, we are going live for the demo day. We're gonna watch all the presentations, all the projects that have been built. And I'm so excited to finally see your project and to see your applications after a very long weekend. I'm quite tired now after 4 days of live streaming, but I can be more excited than this to finally see your project and see what you have came up with. So make sure not to miss the deadline. Record. There is, under the form, there is more information on how you should present your project. You will not have to go live. You'll have to simply shoot a video, and we're going to play that video tomorrow. Okay. And yes, with that being said, we are approaching the end of today's live stream, today's workshop. Guys, I really hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you for staying with me till the end. I remind you that yes, what I wanted to remind. I'm already tired, guys. Thank you very much. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you tomorrow at the demo day. Bye, guys. Have a nice weekend.